welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a brew series. Today we got a nice little kit that I picked up, and we'll go over ingredients, steps, and just show you how I do things. We're out in the garage today. There might be some background noise. I apologize for that right away off the bat. So yeah, we'll get right to it. Alright, so we'll start off with the ingredients. So we have some liquid malt extract. We have some corn sugar. We have some dry malt. We have some crushed up malt. That'll give us our color. And then we have a lot of hops. Oh, to get to the type of beer we're doing, we have an Imperial blonde ale. So this should be a nice golden color and a very strong taste to it, with the alcohol level being an Imperial. But the secret ingredient, we're going to give this a shot. But I have my cousin who makes a homemade maple syrup from his farm, and we're going to throw that in there and see what that does. You know, it might stick around flavor, or it might just add more ABV to it. I don't know yet. We'll find out. Never done it before. So a little bit about my setup. I have a gas propane burner here. First time using it. Typically in the past I had a gas stove. I moved to a new house and now we have an electric stove, and I've done a few brews on there. It turned out okay. It's really hard to control temperature and do things like that, and as well as getting things up to temp. So this should speed up the process quite a bit. Got a nice full tank of propane, so hopefully I'll mix it there. Again, never done it before, but I'm betting it will. Again, in my garage, got the doors open, so plenty of ventilation, and so yeah, let's get brewing. Forgot to show you, since it's winter time here, I took advantage of the available resources. I got some snow here. This will be my cool down tub for my wort, and we'll go over that process a little bit later. Alright. So the first thing we want to do is get the stove fired up. We want to get it up to about 165 to 170 degrees. We're going to put our crushed malt in there, and that's going to give us our color. A little bit of flavoring, mostly color, but the kit comes with these cloth sacks that you put your grains in, and I use a stick, and then I just tie the around there, and then I can dip it like a tea bag in there, and have that without touching the bottom or the sides. Nice little handy thing to have it be able to float in there. So let's get our fire going, let's get it up to temp, and we'll go from there. Get the top right off of that and try not to spill it. Just going to wrap this right over the top of the baggie and drop that in. Oh yeah. This will be messy, so do it over a garbage sink. Right on top of your workspace like I just did. So there you go. Don't pack it down in there, just let it fall in, settle, and we'll tie it off to our stick. These kits come with great instructions. Follow them to a T. I can't stress that enough. If you do, you should never have a problem brewing. We start with 2.5 gallons of water. I got a bunch of other things ready and waiting. I got some water that I treated out of the tap, so that's ready to go. Got my stuff sanitized. It needs to be sanitized. Now this is steep 150 to 165. I would stay closer to the 165, just from experience. And steep for about 20 minutes. So let's check our temperature. Now when you're dealing with your initial wort boil, things don't have to be extremely sanitized, they need to be clean. But if you're handling things, it's fine. After you boil your wort and you have your wort and you're ready to cool it down, that's at the point you don't want to contaminate it. You don't want it to get any stray yeast or bacteria in there. So let's check our temp and see where we're at here. We're at about 110. So we got a ways to go here. Might turn up the heat just a bit. Get yourself a digital thermometer. They're great for brewing beer. So we'll wait for that to heat up. I'll just go over a few things with your brew kit. Malt extract is basically the easy man's way of getting a wort. Typically you sparge your, I don't know, 5 pounds, 4 pounds, however much it is of malt, and that's how you make beer, is you just pour hot water over it until you get all the sugars out of it. Well, they took all that process away and they got the sugar right for you in a can or tub or however it comes. But at the same time, they can also dry it out and you get a dry malt extract. I'm not sure why they provide two different kinds. Cost maybe, it might be more expensive to have the wet or the liquid, I don't know. And then they throw in this corn sugar to up the alcohol content, obviously, because your malt extract doesn't have enough to make it an Imperial. So there's quite a bit of that, should up it fairly high. I've never dealt with the cans before. This is my first kit that came with cans, so got a can opener here to open those babies up. Typically I get them and they got a screw top on them and you just pour it in. Yeah, and then the maple I'm hoping will add some flavoring to it, as well as a little bit more ABV, but we'll see. This process should take, I don't know, a couple hours. You got set up and tear down, you got clean up, so maybe plan for 3 hours to do everything. I don't have the greatest cool down method for my wort, so that adds a little bit of time to that, but yeah, make an afternoon of it, an evening, a morning, something to do. I'm trying to come up to the temperature slowly, that way I know where I can have the heat set and keep it at a constant temperature. It's 147 now. Because while you're steeping, you don't want the temp to go too high and you don't want it to drop back down, so we'll probably bring out the temp and I'll keep adjusting and fine-tuning the dial, and that'll tell me where I'm at. I might even, it depends on your ambient temperature obviously, so if it was a hot day out, it'd probably go to temp faster. Since it's about 28 degrees out right now and I got my doors in the garage open, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but we'll do our best. Alright, we're sneaking up on it here. We're at about 158. I'm going to remove the lid and set that aside because this is going to be open when I'm doing this. 167. Alright, temp's going to drop a bit when I put in the grains, so I think we're good to do that, and then we'll just try to monitor that heat output. Alright. Alexa, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Yes, I have an Echo in my garage. It's good for listening to tunes, which I cannot play while doing a YouTube video. Alright, so you want to, like I said, it's like a tea bag. You want to kind of make sure the water gets in all the grains. Slightly adjust this down. I like to wiggle it around a little bit in here and get the color coming out. Bounce it up and down like you would a tea bag in a teacup, you know. Get that water moving in and out of the grains. So we'll wait for that timer to go off and we'll go from there. In the meantime, I'll probably open up these liquid malt extracts, get those ready to go. Alexa, stop. Alright, it has been 20 minutes. So we'll pull out our grains. You want to have your garbage nearby because you're not going to get every drop out of this, so it's going to be a little wet. We'll just get all as much out as we can. Don't want to squeeze it at this point, just let it kind of drain out. Alright, you can see at this point you got a nice golden color. Depends on what your malt you're using. You get different colors, obviously, different beers, stouts. You know, lighter ales, but that's it. So I gotta change the battery in this. I'll bring it back right when we're about to add in the ingredients here. So hold tight. All right. So we are going to bring this up to a rolling boil. Crank the heat up probably almost as much as it can do, and we'll start dumping in our ingredients. And this is all timed out, so make sure you have a timer handy. Cell phones work good, or if you have an Echo, you can set timers. But all right, let's get going. And we'll dump in the first can, the LME. The burn on the bottom of your pan. So keep stirring, don't let it settle. Once it's mixed in, then you're fine. Next we're going to add the corn sugar. Once it gets to a boil, we'll start our timer, and then we'll put in our first batch of hops. And then as we go through the hour process, we'll add more hops. Halfway through, we'll add the dry malt extract in there. And that's probably when I'll put the maple syrup in there. This is what the instructions call for. Different beers, different instructions. You might put all the ingredients in right away for different beers. So again, follow your instructions, and you'll get a better beer. There we go. Now we're boiling. All right, go in our house. You want to watch it so it doesn't boil over. That is a bad mamma jamma when it boils over. Alexa, start timer for 1 hour.
1 hour. Starting now.
We're at the 15-minute mark. Add more hops. Alright, at this point, we're going to add in our DME, our dry malt extract. Again, stir it in. Slowly. You're going to want to watch for boil over on this stuff too. We're going to put in some more hops. And at this point, we're also going to put in the maple syrups. Let's get this mixed in here first. Alright, time to add the last of the hops. Oh, smell your hops, they smell so good. Oh, that's good. A lot of good hops smell go to waste. Okay, that's the end of the boil. Now we start our cooling phase. That temp to get down to around 85, 80. I mean, we can go as high as 90, but we have our water out here cooling at ambient temperature, so when we pour that in, it'll drop pretty quickly. We'll get that down to the temp we need to sprinkle the yeast, and we'll go from there. Alright, we got our liquid down. Our wort down to temperature, so we're going to pour it into our bucket. Now we're going to top this up to about 5.5 gallons. That's about it. Alright, so we're about at temperature. We will take you inside and we'll finish up this part of brew day. Okay. And we're at about 72 degrees. Perfect temp to pitch our yeast. So first we're going to take a measurement of our ABV. I got way too much in there. It's going to spill, but that's what it is. Yep, certainly spilled. Cold. We are at 1.078. 1.078. So, it's a good level. I'll dump that back in. We'll put in our yeast and then cap. Alright, so we're just going to sprinkle the yeast on top. We are not going to stir this. Sprinkle it on top, let it work its way down into the beer, into the wort, if you will. Go. Nice good seal on top. Put a solution in here. Put that in the top. Oh. There we go. We're all set. So we'll come back part 2. We'll check on the beer. Part 3 we'll bottle. So we'll see you guys on that one. Alright, take care guys.